Pentacle, Chapter 28, Three of Cups. Why the hell did you tell your boyfriend that you didn't like sleeping with him? Asked Jack. I don't know, pouted Kane. There is such a thing as too much honesty, said Carina, and she had come there to offer moral support. Arina said the same thing when I pitched her the idea of being absolutely honest with Oberon, pouted Kane. But the alternative was to suffer another crying fit due to desperation. Wow, so he's really that bad, commented Jack before sipping his judgmental soda. No, but after 4 hours, you would think that he would get bored or tired. Protested Kane while playing with his kitty cat. It almost feels like he's competing with someone. With whom? Asked Carina, and she found the situation amusing and she needed something new to gossip about. I don't know, with Sean maybe. I can share the feeling that he was doing to me what his ex-boyfriend liked. Or maybe I'm imagining things. I don't know, Carina, I just don't know, said Kane before arcing the cat one to make the kitty cat jump higher. You're not planning to stay here the entire week waiting for Oberon, are you? Asked Carina. Yes, said Kane, lowering his head. If you miss him so much, just call him, advised Carina. If he does that, Oberon's just going to walk all over him again in the future, and he needs to know that Kane isn't a doormat, said Bruno. And it is quite infantile to throw everything away just because of a little criticism. People have critiqued my woohoo hundreds of times, said Carina. Your woohoo? Asked Jack, confused. I got into playing The Sims, said Carina, and then it's like playing house but on your computer, and you should really play it sometime. It is the quickest way to forget about your significant other, joked Bruno. Hey, I haven't forgotten about you, said Carina, pouting. And I brought you along, didn't I? Carina pressured Kane into getting out of the house, and the first thing they did was to drop off Julia at Eugenia's house, and this had become her home away from home. And when they arrived, they found Typhoon with his other two siblings sleeping on top of Michael's belly. And Kane gingerly placed Julia there as well, reuniting all of the kitty cat siblings. After making biscuits on Michael's bare belly, she closed her eyes to nap. Wow, so you finally transitioned into a crazy cat lady, joked Carina, seeing Michael with 4 cats sleeping on top of his bare belly. I don't tell you how to spend your money, said Michael disdainfully. Watching him with concern were his daughters and his wife, and Onis came tentatively to Carina and she asked, Is your mother an expert on crazy cat people? Come now, Onis, and you have 3 dogs, joked Carina, laughing. Yes, but this is also sudden. I mean, cats? Seriously? He has never shown an interest in having a pet, and now all of a sudden he has 3 cats. No, wait, 4, back Onis, worry. And this is all Jeremy's fault. It is so fashionable to blame the servants for things out of their control, said Bruno, placing his hands in his pockets before pushing his head forward. And pray do tell me, what did Jeremy say or do to turn your husband into a crazy cat person? He spammed my husband constantly with cat photos, said Onis. I have seen hundreds of cat photos and they have never turned me into a crazy cat woman, said Carina, laughing. And Dorothy and Eugenia echoed her merriment. And my dad is just going through a midlife crisis, said Dorothy, and he's at the right age for one. If it is a crisis, all you can do is show your love and support, said Kane. And he already fired Jeremy. What more do you want? And his main problem with the cats was that they were the spawns of Jeremy's cat Thibault. And as long as they were there, Onis was going to have a visual reminder that her husband had slept with a man. Not that she could prove it, but her intuition knew that it had happened. If it makes you feel better, Mom, the company's stock prices went up after that made public appearance while carrying Typhoon, said Dorothy, and the press has forgotten all about Jeremy. And once the cat gets bigger, he can pretend to be a James Bond villain, joked Bruno. I do so love it when people talk about me as if I'm not sitting here 5 feet away, growled Michael. The cats hissed at Onis to echo their owner's current negative disposition, and this was another thing that Onis didn't like about Typhoon. Whenever she tried to sit near her husband, the cat would scratch at her sleeve until she sat at a respectable distance. And at night, Michael preferred to snuggle with the kitten than with his wife. and it sighed with frustration before distancing herself from the situation, and she added herself to the party-goers, and that night she was going to head out with her daughters to the club. Eugenia fancied that everything was going to be alright with Dr. Carina tagging along, and if anything baby-related happening, Carina was equipped to take care of the problem. The party went to Space Club, and whenever Eugenia wanted to dance, the party would form a protective chain around her, and they did so to prevent dancers from bumping into her baby belly. Carina danced with Eugenia and Carina, and he also danced with any other stranger that duo came out to dance. And was spinning around, he bumped into Arden, who was disguised as a woman. "Hey, Arden, you made it," said Kane, smiling shyly. And he had invited Arden to the party since they had developed a healthy working relationship. And since he was starting to enjoy Arden's company at work, Kane fancied that he was somebody worth befriending. Arden danced with Kane while maintaining a respectable distance. He eventually asked the pertinent question, "Why isn't Oberon with you?" "Because he takes criticism as a personal offense," said Kane dryly, "but when he critiques mine, woohoo." "Your what?" asked Arden, confused. "It is a stupid word I picked up from Carina, and I just like the way it sounds, you know. It's another word for mating, that's all, but that's not important. The long and short of it is that Oberon is allowed to call all of the shots in the bedroom, but if I raise one small complaint, he storms out of the house," said King. "And I often feel that he's just looking for a new excuse to dump me again. And maybe you should call him to see if he wants to sleep with you again." "I'd much rather take you out for a spin," said Arden, twirling King. "I'd rather you didn't," said King, growing somber. "But I just did, and I will spin you around again," jerked Arden, turning King around and around and around, and both men started spinning like a couple of toddlers until they made each other quite dizzy. And they both stumbled back to their seat, and they anchored their hands on the table as they struggled to recover their bearings. "Oh God," when King was struggling to keep hold of the table. "Try some water," said at the moment the glass left and right. "God, are you too drunk already?" laughed Eugenia. "Not really," said King, grabbing the glass of water after much difficulty. After taking a sip, his dizziness and nausea increased. "I gotta go. Where's the bathroom?" Eugenia pointed towards the bathroom, and King stumbled left and right until he found it. And thankfully, by the time he made it, his nausea had passed, and when he opened the door, he was surprised to see Oberon. And Natasha had told Oberon that King had gone out to Space Club, and Oberon brought out from his wallet a heartburn tablet. "We met in the bathroom just like this one. Well, it wasn't as filthy as this one, but close enough," joked King before chewing on his medicine. "It feels like such a long time ago, doesn't it?" said Oberon. "It was more than half a year ago," said King sadly. "Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you stop me from leaving?" asked Oberon. "I was respecting your desire to leave me," said King, lowering his gaze. "If you truly loved me, you would fight for me," barked Oberon. "Would you have stayed had I crawled on my knees and begged you to stay?" asked King. "Well, you never know until you try," said Oberon, giving an impish smile. "This was a mistake," said King, sighing wearily. "And I miss the Oberon that you used to be before we started dating. And back then we didn't have trouble communicating, and I'm sorry for pressuring you into a monogamous relationship, but I was jealous of Arden. I pressured you a lot as well, all to satisfy my lust demon," said Oberon, lowering his gaze. "And if I am not making you happy in the bedroom, then it's my fault for being so self-centered. And what do you want to do, King? And do you want to go back to just being friends?" "What do you want to do, Oberon?" asked King. "It depends on your answer," said Oberon. "Arden is in love with you, so he's a good substitute for me," said King before departing. "Arden is not even my type," said Oberon, closing the door. "That is so mean of you to say," said Arden, entering the bathroom. "And how much do you hear?" asked Oberon. "About everything. I'm a bit of a gossiper, don't you remember?" said Arden. "And do you really love me?" asked Oberon, grinning. "Nah, King just thinks that I love you because I'm always asking him about you. But I was just pretending to take an interest in his interest," said Arden, and he added, smiling coyly while twirling his blonde wig. "As soon as he gets over you, I'm going to catch him on the rebound, and you have been warned." Oberon sighed with frustration after seeing Arden depart. And King was an easy target, especially when he was on the rebound. And if Oberon didn't make up his mind quickly, Arden was just going to steal him for himself, or so he fancied. The truth was that Arden used to love Oberon, but he had gotten over it after being treated for so long as a source of cheap thrill. And all he wanted to do with King, he hadn't decided, and for now he just wanted to dance with him. Oberon frowned when he saw Kane slow dancing with Arden, and it looked like they were embracing from far away, and the reality was that they were just talking. So you just drove off without realizing that you had gotten shot, asked Arden, looking at Kane's shoulder. Pretty much, said Kane, pointing at his band-aid. And how did you learn to crash cars off the road? Asked Arden. I used to go to bumper cars often with my grandpa, and plus I ticket a lot, and I had gotten used to chasing after speeding drivers, and they usually give up after 3 miles, said Kane. So where else have you gotten shot? Asked Arden. This is my first time, said Kane. And what about the beauty scar above your left eyebrow? Said Arden, petting Kane's almost imperceptible scar. I apply a lot of cream to smooth it out. It's still noticeable, said Kane, combing his hair over his forehead. Show it off. Women love men with scarred faces, said Arden, pushing Kane's hair back. Leave it. I can comb my hair in whatever way I please, said Kane, finishing his hair. And you don't see me messing with your. Don't even say it, said Arden, placing his hands around his wig protectively. The night progressed at a leisurely pace, and when it came time to go home, Kane found Oberon sitting on the hood of his car. I miss you, Kane, said Oberon. And I miss last year's Oberon, said Kane, pouting. I'm still me, but you can't expect me to be servile 24/7, barked Oberon, folding his arm. It isn't my desire for you to become my doormat, said Kane bitterly, but it would be nice if you thought of my needs at least every other Sunday, and I'm always trying so hard to please you, and yet you still left me. Tell me, Kane, are you even physically attracted to me? Insisted Oberon. When we first met, you told me that you value soul over body, and I fell in love with your soul, not your body, explained Kane. And that is just a fluffy pickup line I use on shy guys, said Oberon, scratching his head nervously. Well, it worked. You got your shy guy, and you use him and you abandon him like you do all the men and women who are unfortunate enough to like you, said Kane bitterly. Don't make this about me, just answer the question, retorted Oberon, jabbing Kane's chest with his index finger. Do you or do you not find me simply irresistible? If we're talking about manly aesthetics, Malik is far more beautiful than you, hissed Kane, and Oberon flinched as if he had been struck by a physical blow. And with Oberon moving aside from the car, Kane was able to drive home, and he found the entire situation frustrating, and why had he said that? He shouldn't have said that. Sunday came and things continued at a stalemate. See you in the next chapter. Bye-bye and God bless.